Good morning and welcome back. Today is July 22nd, 2024. And before we jump into the verse, you may have noticed, maybe not, I've actually changed the time when I'm releasing the episodes. So I asked for feedback on other episodes and other videos before if 8 o'clock Eastern was good. And the feedback that I received is that 8 o'clock Eastern is when a lot of folks start work, and including myself. And when you start work at that time, it's hard to, be able to get on, get the video and really watch and actually enjoy. So I'm moving it back to 7 o'clock a.m. Eastern time so that anyone, if you're on the West Coast or the East Coast, you can actually, watch the video and listen to it, maybe on the way to work, while you're getting ready, eating breakfast, having coffee, whatever it may be. So it's going to be releasing at 7 o'clock a.m. every morning instead of 8 o'clock, which it's kind of funny that I'm doing it now, because the verse that I'm going to be talking about today kind of goes, I mean, it sort of goes along with that. So Ecclesiastes chapter 3, it's verse 1 is what I have here. But if you really look at it, it goes all the way down, really verse 10 on this particular subject or category. And this verse says, "To everything there is a season and a time to every purpose under the heaven." Now, it doesn't mean like the particular time of the day. That's just kind of a funny coincidence to me. But when you think about your life, there is a time and a place for everything, right? And if you look at these verses, it says there's a time to be born, and a time to die, a time to plant, and a time to pluck up that which is planted, a time to kill and a time to heal, time to break down, and a time to build up. And there's others that goes on through. But what we have to think about is oftentimes in our lives, we think, well, why is this happening to me right now? It's because God has a purpose and he has a time and he has a need and he has something going on in your life that he wants to tell you, or he's trying to show you or prepare you for something. We may not see it. We may not know what it is, but there's something, right? And there's a season and a time in our lives for everything. And if you really notice, it's not everything, right? As in one word, it's two separate words. To everything, there is a season and a time to every purpose under the heaven. There is a particular time and a season, and there's things we're going to go through. But what's really important is no matter what you're going through, it's not permanent. It's a temporary thing. It may feel permanent. We may feel like we're going through a valley or some kind of problem forever, just for the longest time, but it's not. And it's not going to be forever. It's going to be temporary. It's God's going to pull you out of that in some way when he's ready and when you're ready. So we don't always see what God's doing in the moment. And that's what we have to remember, is that in the moment that we're going through things, in those situations, we may not remember, or we may not see what he's doing, but we have to remember that he's still in control. He has control over everything and all things, and he's outside looking in, and he knows the future of what's going to happen. He knows what's already going to be taking place, so he knows what he's trying to build you for, and he's doing it for a purpose, and he's doing it for a reason. I don't know what you may be going through. You may be going through one of the worst and roughest times of your life. You may be going through one of the best times of your life and just enjoying everything. I hope it's the second, but we all go through things. We all go through some trial. If I try and act like that we don't, I'd be lying, because we all go through different situations, different instances, and different problems. And we're all going to have those different situations and times that we have to deal with and we have to struggle through. But that issue and that situation that we're going to struggle through, it doesn't have a permanent place in our life unless we allow it. Everything has a season, everything has a time. It just may not be right now, and it may not be your time. But God's time's perfect. God's time is he's always on time. He's never late. Even when he's late, he's still on time. Even with Lazarus, when they thought he was late, he was still on time. So don't get caught up in trying to fix your situation too quickly. I mean, we don't need to sit in bad situations, and we don't need to put ourselves in a bad spot just for whatever. But don't think that just because you're in a bad spot that God's forgotten about you, or that you have to hurry up and get to a certain place or a certain way, or what have you. Understand and know that God's working. He's got a reason. He's got a time, and that everything is under his control. So even if you're going through a battle, you're going through something that you just don't understand, my prayer is that you can rest assured God has control over that, and that God is working behind the scenes where we may not see. So trust in him. Whatever your situation is, trust that he's on time and that he's going to work your way through it. I hope you can take that and that it's a blessing to you today. Study through these verses and understand there is a time for everything. And just about everything you can really think about would be covered under one of these different categories and these different pieces in these verses. Just Ecclesiastes chapter 3, read verse 1 through 10, and then apply that to your life and then see how it works out. I hope you have a fantastic day today. And I want you to remember that God loves you and I love you. And I'll see you again tomorrow.